Be Frankie.
Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Deffinition, and this is the channel where they all float. The full official trailer for It Chapter 2 has just dropped, and it looks like the entire film isn't clowning around, with the face down between the Losers Club and Pennywise the Clown finally going down. The last trailer had a bit where it looks like what happens when you get out of the shower without a towel, but this update looks infinitely more terrifying. There's a hell of a lot to unpack from this new look at the film, and throughout this video I'll be doing a general breakdown of the trailer and then kind of going into all the information that you need to know about the movie itself. This is full spoilers ahead, so if you don't want to know anything about the movie or what could happen going off the source material, then I highly recommend that you turn off now. With that out the way, thank you for clicking the video. Now let's get into my It Chapter 2 trailer breakdown.
Something happens to you when you leave this town. The farther away, the hazier it all gets.
Okay, so this is kind of touched upon in the book, that Pennywise basically puts a spell over the entire town that sort of makes people very nonchalant to what's going on, and it was always kind of a point of contention when I was reading the original story that why have these people forgotten what happened only about 30 years ago? I mean, it was a massively terrifying thing for them. I think it would shock me for the rest of my life, yet somehow these people, they don't remember, and Mike's the only one who does, and they have a sort of very vague memory, but it actually turns out that Pennywise is sort of controlling all of Derry and putting basically this sort of hypnosis over the entire town that is one of the main reasons that the police don't investigate further into the missing children, and there's a lot of sort of basically Pennywise is using his incredible psychic abilities to make everyone very ignorant to what's actually going on in the city. So I'm glad that they touched upon this because it wasn't really mentioned in the original TV show, but yeah, this is a great little nod to it.
But me, I never left. I remember all of it.
Yeah, and you see that people are still going missing, 5 years old you can see there, and obviously Pennywise is operating once more, but the police probably don't care because he still has everyone under this kind of spell. And here we see the barrens flooding. But don't worry if you're drowning, right? Because lifeguard Pennywise is there to save you. Some people still... I'm not putting you through my Baywatch impression, but yeah, Pennywise is still operating and he's killing lots of people by the looks of it.
To the losers.
And here is the Losers Club re-meeting for the first time in 30 years. It happens at the Chinese restaurant, which is a massive scene in the book. It's kind of when they all get back together, and this scene was actually shown a lot more in detail at San Diego Comic-Con. They have made some slight alterations to it from the original source material, but I'm definitely looking forward to watching it play out once more, as it's a great scene that starts off very happy and then gets very sinister. Now, one thing you will notice is that one of the chairs is empty, and I'm just going to give some massive spoilers now, so if you don't want to know anything about the film, this is your last chance to turn off. This is a big spoiler, but Stan actually kills himself when Mike calls him, purely because he's just so terrified to go back there and face down Pennywise. So yeah, this is a little highlight here that he's not going to be in the film as much as you think, and his suicide sort of brings them together and they realise, like, damn, we really need to pull this off.
We made an oath.
Swear.
And if you just go back there was a slight flash of Beverly walking in the rain. Now, what happened in the book is that basically she's basically gone on to date her father in some ways. Not literally, but basically a guy who's very abusive to her. He hits her. She gets the call from Mike to go back to Derry, and she kind of like, she just accepts it. She's like, yeah, I need to go. And her husband, I think it's a husband, he doesn't really understand what's going on. Actually, it's not a husband, it's just a boyfriend. He doesn't understand what's going on, and they have a massive blazing row, and in the book, it's a very big scene. Beverly kind of storms out in the pouring rain without any shoes on, which is clearly what she's doing here. Ben got hot. Bill got very British. Scottish, yeah. James McAvoy. Eddie's still worried.
If it ever comes back.
And Mike is just checking out the scene. Richie has became Bill Hader, and he's also gone in to do Stranger Things, so well done.
We didn't stop it. The clown.
Right, and this is another scene that was shown at San Diego Comic-Con, and basically it's a fairground where Bill sees a child wandering into a house of mirrors, and he's getting chased down by Pennywise, and he sort of runs in after him, which we see in this scene.
We can't let it happen again.
Now this is genius, because imagine going into a house of mirrors to face down Pennywise. It's absolutely terrifying, and yeah, I cannot wait to see how this comes across in the movie, because this has the potential to be the scariest scene in the film, I think. It's not in the source material, we've not seen it in the TV show, and it definitely could go down massively here. And there is Pennywise doing his best impression of a Kiss concert. We did see a Funko Pop of this with his tongue hanging out, so yeah, it's good to see this has made it to the film in this scene. Now, often in films, when they have a house of mirrors, it's used to show the characters reflecting one another in kind of they're basically their dual objectives. So Bill is obviously wanting to save this child's life, Pennywise is wanting to kill them, and it's a really nice setting for this scenario. They are sort of reflections of each other. Bill's kind of the guy who stood up to evil, and Pennywise is evil standing up to good. So yeah, really nice subtext here. And there we see them back at Neobolt Street House. And it looks like, right, Henry Bowers is back. I thought he was killed in the original film, and I was always a bit curious about it because he does appear in the source material. Basically, he goes to an insane asylum for all the crazy things he did as a kid, and Pennywise makes a bargain with him that if he kills the Losers Club, he'll get him out of there, and of course he signs up. So yeah, this red balloon, it kind of shows their union. And again, Neobolt Street House, which is where they're going to face off against our Pennywise. Now, this is another scene from San Diego Comic-Con that was shown. Basically, it's a massive reference to The Thing. Apparently, out of that fridge burst a head, and this head begins to sprout legs. If you've seen The Thing, it's one of my favourite horror movies of all time. That is a massive scene on it. And Bill Hader actually says, "You gotta be effing kidding me," which is another reference to The Thing. So yeah, glad to see such an amazing Easter egg in the film. And there's 99 red balloons from that song. So when the Losers Club are going back to Derry, basically Pennywise doesn't want them to come back because they could defeat him. So he launches sort of these attacks against them to kind of scare them. And we do see throughout the trailer them separated, and he's basically launching an all-out assault to stop them from going back to the town.
We need to finish it.
And if you just go back there, I think that might be a corpse of the species that Pennywise is. Obviously, if you've read the source material, you know he's a giant spider. Sort of that sort of form. He's not a spider, but he's sort of similar to one. And this could be the bones of another one of his species that landed with him and died.
We need to finish it. For good.
I've seen all of us die. It seems like
So again, we see Pennywise sort of doing his very solo missions to kind of stop people from coming back to the town. This is obviously before they meet up, and yeah, he's launching an all-out assault against them. And sorry, I'll just go back there. That was very clearly Stan's severed. He basically cut his wrists open after the call with Mike, so he's killed himself, and he scrawls on the wall just "it." And this kind of starts the book in a very sort of gripping way, so yeah, I can definitely see that there.
We don't have a choice anymore. You lied. And I died.
So there's the basement again, where Georgie famously went to in the first film, and also Bill saw the image of his brother, and he's back, he's taunting him again. And there's the scene that has the most blood ever used in a film ever. It did top The Shining, and yeah, it's good to see it here. Jessica Chastain is basically completely covered, and yeah, that's amazing. And there's the ritual of chud. It's a very esoteric part of the book that sort of breaks the dimensions. It's basically an LSD trip. They have confirmed that it is going to be in the film. Now, a lot of critics have said it's going to be a very difficult part to film, but they are attempting it. It's very psychological, and yeah, it looks like this is sort of how I'd imagine it to start off, with them all kind of holding hands, but I think they will be able to pull it off. We will see though, but yeah, this works kind of well for me. And I think right now, going against my last video, I did say that Pennywise wasn't a real person, so that old photograph just wasn't him. But I think they've actually went against that and have said that at some point Pennywise tried to integrate with the town by being a clown in the olden days. And this is sort of a clip of that, where he kind of realizes that he's not fitting in, and he just goes all out crazy. So yeah, amazing. Okay, so now just on to some general information about the movie, the cast and storyline. So firstly, the film will be released on the 6th of September worldwide, and yeah, I'm pretty hyped for it. From the first look at the trailer, it's pretty safe to say that this is sticking very close to the source material, with the Losers Club returning 27 years later to take down Pennywise the Clown. Since their pact in the first film, they've all went their separate ways, and the movie will clearly not only tackle the danger that Pennywise presents, but also how friendships fracture over the years, with many of the characters not really wishing to return to what could be their death. Mike now works as a librarian in Derry, Bill has become a best-selling horror novelist, Ben is an architect, Beverly is a fashion designer, and Richie is a late-night television comedian. Eddie runs a limo service, and Stan is a real estate broker. They've all pretty much gone on to lead happy lives, as Pennywise promised, except maybe Eddie and Beverly. However, that doesn't mean that the oath should be forgotten, and it's pretty clear that Mike will be the one that has to bring them all together. There is going to be more footage shown at Comic-Con for the film, but I think they really just wanted to get this trailer out to get people hyped for those who couldn't attend. There were some photos released the other week that show the Losers Club returning back to the house where Pennywise lives, and James McAvoy is clearly amping them up. One big thing you will notice about these photos is that Mike has a bandaged arm, and this is likely because he's went toe to toe with Pennywise at some point. The movie itself is going to cut back and forth between the old and new cast, and this was confirmed in an interview with James McAvoy in Entertainment Weekly. This is similar to the book, as it's not really told in linear fashion, and anyone who's read it knows it kind of jumps back and forth between the past and present. Now onto the It Chapter 3 rumours that are currently floating around, excuse the pun. So the movie is tracking to do $150 million on opening weekend, and if it hits that, then this will probably usher it to be the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. If it does do that, then you can pretty much bet that the studio will want to do more movies set around the characters, and apparently there are some scripts in production that will accomplish this. Those who've read the book know that Pennywise is eventually defeated at the end of it, so this has led to a lot of speculation on the internet surrounding what could actually happen. The director of the film has actually mentioned that if they go down this route, then the film will in fact be both a prequel and sequel that firstly shows the Losers Club's children in the future who are still haunted by Pennywise, who will be taunting them for their parents' actions. Juxtaposing this, the movie will also show Pennywise arriving on Earth and his origin in Derry, as well as how he began to pick off the pilgrims that journeyed to the area and eventually built their settlement there. Whilst I am a bit of a King purist, unless we're talking about the Shining movie, I definitely think that if they do go down this route, it could work, and I'd of course be there on day one to watch the movie. Obviously, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the trailer and the film in general, so make sure that you comment below and let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, then please like it, and make sure you check out my full breakdown of my Stranger Things 3 fan theory surrounding Dr. Brenner, which will be linked at the end. Also, just want to let you know that we're giving away a free copy of Avengers Endgame on Blu-ray to one lucky winner, and all you have to do is like this video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and leave your thoughts on It Chapter 2 in the comment section below. The winner will be chosen at random on August the 10th, and the Blu-ray will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. This is a channel for people who are mad into movies, so if that's the kind of thing you like, hit subscribe. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this. I've been Deffinition, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.